Hey folks, welcome to Pol Ki Bol. My name is Saurabh Pol. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I mean, it's past midnight. मैं थोड़ा सा काम कर रहा था, so I got a little busy. This is a live stream on the topic of India's Got Latent. Samay Raina just now posted that he has deleted all India's Got Latent shows on YouTube. I'm just checking if I'm live right now. So as I said, I'm very I think I'm live. Let me check. Oh, okay, I'm live. Okay, I'm live. Cool, cool. इसको मैं बंद कर देता हूँ. Cool, cool. So yeah, let me start off by saying that it's unfortunate whatever has happened, right? Like um, everything, Ranveer's comment was extremely unfortunate. He shouldn't have made it. All those jokes that were put out, like especially, I mean, let's be frank, right? India's Got Latent was extremely popular, like 30 million views, yeah, per episode. It's incredible. So kudos to Samay Raina for building it. Okay. Having said that, I don't think neither Samay's comedy and production was ready for India, nor India was ready for Samay. Being very frank, not ready for Samay. The way you are ultimately. What happens is, as I mentioned in my previous video, right? Um, this this was unfortunately predictable because we are not a society, we are not a country that has that much freedom when it comes to actually expressing deviant thoughts, because what we call dank humor, which unfortunately escaped its target audience. And I was watching Barkha Dutt. She's made at least 3-4 videos on this since yesterday. She starred in at least two of them, and she's had it for Ranveer Alabadia. Beer biceps को तो वो लोग beer belly वगैरह बोल रहे हैं on Mojo Story, which is the channel of Barkha Dutt. And she's like, this guy is not a kid. He's inviting people on his show, which he has 80 million 8 million followers, 80 lakh subscribers he has on YouTube. और वो लोगों को बुला रहा है और बोल रहा है कि how many, which are the top 3 Indians that need to be kicked out of the country. And unfortunately, the guest, one of the names that he took was Barkha Dutt. So Barkha Dutt is like कि मैं तेरे को treat नहीं कर रही बच्चे की तरह. I'm तो coming after you with the kitchen sink, which is what has happened, right, with Ranveer. Um, Ranveer is not a funny guy, but that is not a crime. Okay, Beer Biceps is not a funny guy, but that is not a crime. Okay, um, he said something. There are a lot of people who are like, oh, there is nothing illegal in what he said. That is absolutely not true. We do have an obscenity law, firstly. And if they want to implement it, they totally can, because our laws are very subjective, and they're subjective for a reason. Because they're less, because it can be used by anyone at any time. Any government body can use it. Like not any government body, but any level of government in India has a lot of power over us, right? Um, and our speech, and people are like, India mein free speech nahi hai. And I'm like, yeah, welcome to the real world. We realized it like in 2015 itself, when AIB got completely destroyed. They brought it upon themselves also in a lot of ways, AIB. And many will be like, oh, they didn't get destroyed because of the roast. वो Me Too के वजह से गए. Yeah, but it all started with the roast, and there was no way they were going to survive it. The roast was the beginning of the end. A couple of days ago, I posted on my channel's posts wala part, right? I put up a poll which was like, will India's Got Latent survive this? And to my utter surprise, majority of you said yes, like, it will survive this. And I was like, are these guys like gone? Like, तुम लोग पागल वागल हो गए क्या? And that is when I realized that there is a big, generational gap or something, or maybe you guys are just deluded. I'll be very frank, you guys are all deluded. Because तुमने actually see, COVID has really scrambled your minds. Okay. Yes, the digital world is very impactful, but it is nothing compared to the physical world. Okay. And you guys are getting a very good lesson. And I really hope you get that lesson and you carry it to your workplaces, because that is where you will be spending most of your time in the rest of your life. Whether you like it or not, this is the harsh reality, right? and many young folks in India, and as I said, India is a majority young country. Many of you are realizing what we are all about. We are not a liberal country, we are a conservative country. It doesn't mean that's a bad thing. No one, just because you're liberal doesn't mean you're better than everyone else, and vice versa, of course. I'm feeling very bad for Samay because he's actually talented, and so is Ranveer Alabadia, by the way. But in his own way, he's not a funny guy. He shouldn't have been brought on over there to crack jokes, but it is what it is, right? Hindsight is 2020. Some would say even Deepak Kalal is not funny or Rakhi Sawant is not funny. Like whatever, I find both of them very funny. As I said again, right? Comedy is very subjective, but so are India's laws against free speech. And you will be like, "Are free speech is there elsewhere? Like where is it? Where is free speech?" The UK, doesn't really have free speech. Um, uh, in the European Parliament, there are talks of, jailing people if they put out something, if they're spreading misinformation, right? The United States of America is probably the only country in the world where there is absolute free speech. Okay, and because they are so powerful, they get to implement those laws, or at least advocate for them. That is not the case in our country. Definitely not there in other countries in the world. Like even China is not known for having free speech. So what exactly are you guys looking at? Like I don't understand. Like okay, you want something doesn't mean you're gonna get it, right? I would say it's you know the audience also needs to have some sense that what were you expecting to happen, right? I'm feeling so bad for Samay because he was on KBC, just like Kaun Banega Crorepati, like you're sitting and cracking jokes with Amitabh Bachchan, like usse bada aur kya hota hai? Ranveer Alabadia was getting awards from the Prime Minister of India, which is like Narendra Modi. Usse bada kya hota hai? Matlab, these guys literally were at the top, right? And unko for some reason गिराया गया है, I personally feel, because the outrage has been extremely disproportionate. मुझे वो समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है कि इतना क्यों कर रहे हैं. There are many theories floating around कि there is a OTT mafia, like they wanted to buy the rights of IGL and all of that. समय ने नहीं बेचा and this and that. So I was like, okay, maybe it could be there, but what is the proof? Like this is all hearsay, right? And then people were like, oh, Ranveer had become too big. These YouTubers had become too big, and like traditional media was really losing out to new media, and so now they're piling on. Now that I completely agree with, right? Traditional media has really suffered at the hands of new media, and now that they have gotten a chance to go after the biggest dude available, they are going after Ranveer, right? And along with that, Samay. So they're completely going after it because there is a war of attention that is taking place. There is something called as the attention economy, right? And old media is losing it, and the new media is winning big time. So clearly, I would say this is a brilliant time for those people who wanted Ranveer and Samay to fail, and they're piling upon them. I think we should not kick a man when he's down. So I will just say that whatever Ranveer said was absolutely unnecessary, very crass, disgusting. People like you and me will be just like, move on. Like I want to ignore this. But that's not how India works, right? India, like Rahul Ishwar has been on so many panels since yesterday, and he's like, India has many sacred cows, and family is one of them, parents are one of them, religion is one of them. AIB, when they brought all of that upon themselves in a way, AIB was very political, by the way. They were very left leaning, and they also dared to speak about religion in general, like I would say Hinduism in particular, and they got away with it for a while. After that, nothing, right? After that, nothing. Even none of those people, like when the hammer fell upon them, they couldn't get back to what they were once doing. Okay, and unka stand-up careers though are more or less not there. Like except for Rohan Joshi, it's there a little bit. And Tanmay Bhatt got into YouTube reaction videos and all until 2-3 years ago. Even he was gayab for a good time. Huh? Although Tanmay is super talented, he's a big guy. He does advertisements and all. Credit advertisements are done by Tanmay, if I'm not wrong. So good for him. But they are not what they once were, and they can never become that, right? I'm feeling bad for Samay and Ranveer because they never went overboard with anything. People are like, oh, Ranveer was promoting spirituality and Hinduism and all. Bro, Ranveer was just looking at analytics, seeing what were the search trends, what were the engagement trends. तुम उसको मतलब चांद पे कैसे जाने वाले सर्चेस आते तो इसीलिए वो वीडियोस वैसे बनाता है. Ranveer, all he does is he worships the algorithm. That's he's a numbers guy. You need to give him that credit. He's not successful by mistake. People think Ranveer just lucked into his success. No, I don't think so. He's done very well. Also, he has a team. He has a brilliant team, by the way. He has a strategy team which most people are not aware of. So, and he's the face of it, but the entire operation is quite big. And he has a strategy team, right? And they have done very well. They're very smart. Good for them. I hope they keep succeeding. But as of now, it's a huge break for them. I don't know what Ranveer is going to do, but I feel bad for Samay because Samay may have had only Samay was like my dark humor karega, dank humor karega, but he never went on about talking about any religion as far as I know. Samay also did not go after any big personalities for that matter. He never got into politics, any religious issues and all. He's like मैं dank humor करेगा ऐसा आलतू फालतू चीज़ों के बारे में बात करूँगा and I'll use like foul language and all of that and there will be no holy cows and everything and this is what comedy is. The challenge is this is a very Western attitude and this is an attitude I agree with by the way. But the challenge is as I said right we are too westernized and in that whole westernization concept we forget that we are Indians living in India. Uh, if I'm not wrong, Samay to abhi New York, he is in Washington, Seattle, New York. He's in the US right now on his comedy tours, right? Which is what he'll be left with, frankly. And this is what, by the way, many US stand up comedians do. They're like, whenever they are doing a live set, they have a strict rule no phones, no phones, no recordings. Because they have whatever these guys are facing now, those guys have been facing for the last decade, and those jokes go out of hand, and then it becomes a huge issue. Because stand up comedy requires context, it requires consent, and a lot of other things, which is too much nuance for our country. It's not happening, right? We people are like अरे this was a membership only content आपको किसने बोला देखने को doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. If it's on the internet it's just there, right? So yeah, I mean I'm also following the Reddit thread of India's Got Latent and Samarana and all, and people are like oh my god ये एक show भी चला गया. Like what did you expect this show to have like 100 episodes? Are you crazy? The kind of content that was coming out there, I was pleasantly surprised कि अरे ये भी allowed है क्या अपने देश में. And then of course like it took like 3-6 months and वो भी निकल गया. I don't think any alternative medium of entertainment is really permitted in our country. I think, and young people especially, I don't think we are allowed to, uh, really do, what we want to do unless there is, in a way, किसी का हाथ होना चाहिए अपने सिर पे, तभी तभी जाके वो होगा, otherwise नहीं होगा. Let me check the live stream. Any comments or something are there? किसी को पड़ी है क्या? Oh wow, you guys are here. Hey Aditya. It's Puke. Okay, hi, it's Puke. Educational Path. Hello. Lokesh Negi. Hi. You have Vipul Chandra Jha. Hello, Vipul. Oh wow. Okay. So let me read the comments. Right. Aditya is like, "Bhai, kya ho gaya? Beer biceps and tequila triceps." That was funny. But dude, as I said, right, I feel bad for beer biceps because वो अकेला नहीं है, उसके पीछे बहुत बड़ी टीम है. There are a lot of people employed by that guy. वो अकेला आपको दिखता है, but he has people with him, right? So I kind of feel bad for the people who who are like, okay, Ranveer has gone for some show and he comes back and they are literally probably being told, भाई और 2-3 महीना कुछ नहीं होने वाला. So you have to think about that also, by the way. It's Puke, I think, yeah, he put an F in the chat, so F for respect, so I get it, yeah. Educational path is like, are they really guilty for this act? Well, technically, yes, because as I said, right, our law exists. There is an obscenity law in our country, right? There is an obscenity law in our country. The fact is that it is rarely enforced and it shouldn't be enforced, right? The police has much better things to do in our country. Like, I mean, look at the amount of crimes that happen, yeah. Like someone like a Saif Ali Khan gets attacked in his own house. All those different horrible cases that you can't even read properly in the newspaper. मैं तो पढ़ने का मन नहीं करता इतना. I was like, oh my god, this is so disgusting, so grotesque. I mean, the cops have the hands full in this country. But this is happening because somewhere the outrage has been exceptional. And, there is a theory which people say, they are going to launch an online censorship bill. And this is one theory which I give total credence to, by the way. मेरे को सच्ची में लगता है ये है कुछ तो like there will be some online censorship law, because OTTs and YouTubers, they will keep saying anything. They'll put anything. They're kind of out of the purview of the government and the authorities. So they are like, no, this is a good way and a good reason to bring them back in the mold, right? So that is my thought, right? So yeah, yeah. Aditya is like, the problem is free speech and the responsibility along with it. While you're in public, you have to be 100% sure about saying something, and you can't go on saying kuch bhi. Thank you. There is a difference between saying things in public and saying things in private, right? You'll be like, मैं कहीं पे भी कुछ भी बोलेगा. You're not in the United States of America, buddy. Like those guys, as I mentioned, they're free speech absolutists. They let you do it. Other countries do not. The UK has a very, very strong hate speech and defamation law, right? You can't just say anything to anyone. Like they have laws. So does India, right? And our country is way, too complicated to have any. I would say, anyone go and say anything. Possibly नहीं है यार. अपने देश में बाट लग जाएगा, दंगे हो जाएंगे. You have to be very careful about what you say, what you don't say. है कि नहीं? So, which is why our country has the laws that it has. As simple as that. Let me be very frank. And even if those jokes are stupid and all, इतना seriously क्यों लेते हैं and all, भाई, see, as I said, right, if you are young, you can only कूद सकते हो एक limit तक. India is a country run by people who are old, okay, 45 and plus. India is amazing for you, because the natural default state of our country is that you are going to respect your elders no matter what, whether they have earned it or not. That's on you. ठीक है, this is a reality I want you to accept. This is the, what do you call, uh, the ring in which you are going to operate. Okay, you need to know where you stand, and that is the only way you're going to operate well in this country. Please remember, and this is not just about free speech, but a lot of other things, right? It is what it is. Bipul is like, in India, jokes are taken seriously, but real issues are taken as jokes. All types of comedy should exist. Diversity of thought and content is important. Vipul, I completely agree with you. Having said that, nothing like this is going to happen for another 20-25 years. Our country is just not ready for it. It's just not. They are burning. अभी मैं एक Twitter पे वीडियो देख रहा था. They are burning effigies of the panelists. Which is like, of course, Samay, Apurva, then of course, Ranveer, and there was this other dude, a couple of dudes who were there. यार आशीष चंचलानी बच गया, फ्रैंकली. पता है, आशीष चंचलानी बच गया. वो पहले बहुत मुंहफट बंदा था एकदम. आई लव्ड हिम, इवन नाउ आई लाइक हिम. बट आशीष का सीन क्या है, वो ही लॉस्ट वेट, एंड आई थिंक ही ऑल्सो काइंड ऑफ लॉस्ट हिज वेट अ लिटिल बिट, और मे बी दैट डे ही वॉज नॉट फीलिंग वेल, बिकॉज ज़्यादा बोल नहीं रहा था यार वो एपिसोड में. And so anyway, coming back, I personally feel, while this is very ideal, it cannot exist in India, is what I'm trying to tell you. This is something which only people like you and me will agree. Urban hai, काफी westernized hai, हमारा mind westernized hai. We need to accept it. Like literally while having lunch, I'm watching a Netflix show which is like on like based out of Tokyo. I'm watching what is that, Alice in Borderland and stuff like that, right? So, and everything else about us is very westernized. So these things that you're talking about, Apurva, they're Western ideals, they're westernized ideals, and we take very naturally to them because we're urban, well-to-do, millennials, Gen Zs, Gen Xers, whatever you want to call it. But we are like what, 30, 40, and young, more importantly, be young. So what is our percentage, right? Like we हो के हमारे ऐसे 4-5 करोड़ लोग होंगे in a country of 145 crores. उसमें भी do all your friends agree with this? Ask yourself that. I don't think so. That's my thing, right? That's my thing. So yeah. Anyway, the next one is Varun Hinje. Ranveer third eye opened. Wow. Okay. I don't know what. Okay. Sid, true. I quit newspapers after Delhi riots, now forced to read for GDPI. Perfect, Sid. Sid, I'll tell you one thing. I stopped reading newspapers in 2012 after the Nirbhaya case. I couldn't read it. Every time I opened the newspaper, I felt like vomiting. And I also got a feeling that these newspapers, they were putting out these articles, you know, trying to capitalize on the tragedy. And मैं वो पढ़ ही नहीं पा रहा था. I used to read newspapers voraciously. And I stopped. I completely stopped. I'm like, I cannot read these newspapers. They're disgusting because इतनी गंदी गंदी news आती है देश में. I couldn't. I restarted like a year ago or so properly reading newspapers because I was having too much screen time. People, a lot of people in the comments are, "Yeah, इसको dark circles है यार, sorry." वो to reduce the screen time. And अभी देखना रात के 12:30 बजे I'm doing a live stream, but I just love doing this and I love you guys. काम खत्म करके करना पड़ता है ये सब, you know. So anyway, next is I think it's Puke is saying Samay will be back stronger. He's a Kashmiri Hindu after all. It's in his blood. No comments on Kashmiri Hindu, you know, and Samay being a Kashmiri Hindu. I have a lot of friends who are Kashmiri Hindus, but he will come back stronger. Definitely, he'll come back stronger. But will he be as big as he was? No, no. That is the depressing part, right? Like because see, उसको वो थोड़ा टाइम के लिए उसको ब्रेक लेना चाहिए उसके मेंटल हेल्थ के लिए भी. यू नीड टू थिंक अबाउट इट, राइट? समय में बी अ सेलिब्रिटी बट ही इज़ अ ह्यूमन बीइंग. वी नीड टू शो ग्रेस टुवर्ड्स ह्यूमन बीइंग्स. या ऐसे आप नहीं कर सकते, करेक्ट? सो आई जस्ट होप ही एंड रणवीर बोथ टेक अ ब्रेक बिकॉज या पार्लियामेंट में वगैरह बात मतलब छिड़ गई है यार. देन दे आर नाउ समन टू द नेशनल कमीशन ऑफ वुमेन का पैनल एंड ऑल. हलवा है क्या? इट्स नॉट ईजी. सो आई फील ऑनेस्टली दे हैव माई सिंपथी, राइट? गलती किया बट कितना कितना द पनिशमेंट शुड मैच द क्राइम is what I'm trying to tell you, right? So that's my thing. But Sama is not going to come back as big as he was. This is the end of it. He will come back. वो तन्मय की हालत देखो यार, तन्मय भट्ट की हालत देख लो. भाई हालत है. तन्मय भट्ट, I'm pretty sure is a multi-crorepati. He's doing very well, but is he as big as he once was? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So yeah. So yeah, Aditya is a bhai. I'm a follower for a long time. Trying to connect. Please accept. Generally want to get a better connection. Is just send me a request on LinkedIn, guys. Like Saurabh Pol on LinkedIn. If you want to connect with me, just follow me on LinkedIn. If not connection, follow me over there. Sid BH is like, this should be completely banned. These are disgusting jokes, but other issues should also be addressed like this. Sid, I think this is exactly what is happening. Also happens with you know Bollywood, right? Like I don't know if you guys remember until like 7-8 years ago, you know, literally there used to be any time you wanted to promote a Bollywood movie, आप सेंसर बोर्ड के साथ कुछ कर लेते थे कि अरे हमारा सीन काट दिया, अरे ये हो गया, सेंसर बोर्ड के साथ झगड़ा करने का, दिस एंड दैट. The reality was the censor board was extremely powerful and extremely overactive in a lot of ways. अनुराग कश्यप की मूवीज 5-5 साल रिलीज नहीं हुई है, ठीक है? People have forgotten that because as much as you want to, you know, disparage the current, you know, government, आई डोंट थिंक देयर हैज़ बिन दैट मच सेंसरशिप. आप ओटीटी वगैरह खोलो, क्या क्या आता है वहाँ पे, कुछ भी बोलते हैं वो लोग उसमें. सो इट एग्जिस्ट्स, राइट? बॉलीवुड का क्या हुआ, वो उल्टा हो गया. दे लाइक दे गो टू द मासेस, राइट? दे लिटरली गो टू द मासेस एंड वहाँ पे इतना सेंसरशिप होता है. They have to be very careful. Sometimes they self censor, but nowadays it's much more relaxed than what it was 7-8 years ago and 10 years ago, right? What many people are saying is ये YouTube पे भी लाओ. Think about it, right? Like in the attention economy, Bollywood is losing. I have made videos on that. You know it. आप कौन सी मूवी देखने जा रहे हो यार? लोग इंटरस्टेलर के देख रहे हैं हम लोग, ठीक है? बॉलीवुड इज लूजिंग. दे आर लूजिंग टू दीज यूट्यूबर्स, दीज न्यू कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स. नाउ दे आर लाइक, इनको भी रेगुलेट करो. मेरे को रेगुलेट कर रहे हो ना, उसको भी रेगुलेट करो. Remember that much. There is a business angle to it also. So anyway, am I still streaming? I'm a bit surprised. Okay, anyway, hopefully it's going on. Yeah, Ankit is like, people forget that two-thirds of India still live in rural India, even if urbanization is happening and internet is breaking barriers. It will take decades for a country to have these types. Completely, Ankit. Thank you so much. You made a brilliant point. And even within rural India, you know, not to say if you are in rural India, oh, you're not sophisticated. I'm not saying that. Let's just say if you're in urban India, you're much more, it is, you know, the propensity of being a liberal is higher when you live in an urban setting. So you'll have more liberal values, you'll have more Western values. Having again, just because you have liberal values or Western values does not mean you're better or those values are better. They are what they are, is what I'm trying to tell you. But this kind of content is only possible in a liberal and westernized society, which we are not. Which we are not. आप बस फ़ोन पे ऐसे पड़े रहते हो, 2020 से आप फ़ोन पे पड़े वैसे. इसका मतलब ये नहीं दुनिया यहाँ पे चलती है, आपकी दुनिया आजू बाजू में है. I want young people to know that in India, India is very big. India is very big and it is not what you think it is. You're getting a taste of what it is now, by the way. So anyway, wow, double digit, ये 12 लोग आ गए ये stream पे. Thank you guys, you guys are awesome. So anyway, next is Aditya is saying that, okay, even participants should be taught a lesson. The one guy who commented on a girl related to whoa, that was see, that's the problem, right? The thing, I messaged a friend of mine the other day. मैंने उसको बोला कि ब्रो, ये जो इंडियाज गॉट लेटेंट है ना, इट इज बेसिकली, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू गाइज नो, ऑनेस्टली टेल मी, what is it based on? Do you know what it is based on? It's based on a show called Kill Tony. Okay, the origin, India's Got Latent is not original. It's based on Kill Tony, and it's okay. You're not supposed to always be you can adapt things, and it's a beautiful adaptation, as perfect as an adaptation as it could be. उसमें आप फालतू कॉमिक्स को लेके आते हो और अप एंड कमिंग कॉमिक्स को लेके आते हो और उनको एक चांस देते हो, which is what Kill Tony did, still does, and which is what Samay also did, right? And उसमें से कुछ लोग अनशन निकलते हैं. That guy was one of them. So that's the thing, right? Like somewhere people kind of forgot, as I said, right, कि एक लिमिट होता है हर एक चीज़ का, which is unfortunate. Like most people like, how can comedy exist without limits? Like now you'll see how it will exist with limits. Sorry, yeah, with limits. So anyway, next is Vipul. At present, our stock market is collapsing. My portfolio is 14% down. Bro, पूछ मत, portfolio का लगे पड़े यार. GDP growth is declining. Kind of, yes, yes. Rich people are running innocent via luxury cars, but CM of two states busy on this. Yeah, this is not a priority. A country as big as ours, as important as ours, should not be focusing on this. The reason this is happening is I genuinely think there's going to be a censorship law that's going to come in for online content creators. I personally think that's going to happen. Yeah, cool. Hey, Vipul, thank you for liking my. वो हुआ नहीं. Yeah, that is the challenge. Uh, या अरे यार, नेट का भी ऊपर नीचे हो रहा है, पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है. बट कोई कोई सवाल जवाब है क्या? कोई सवाल जवाब नहीं तो मैं कट लेता हूँ. बट एंड आई गिव माई पार्टिंग थॉट्स ऑन दिस टॉपिक. आई डोंट वांट टू मेक मोर वीडियोस ऑन दिस फ्रैंकली, because I feel bad for Ranveer as well as you know. I think it is just sad because they are going through a lot. I think we should care about their mental health, and yeah, that's what it is. Aditya, I noted your comment on the frequency of the videos. I'll think about it. Yeah, frankly, I'll think about it because I am trying to make up for the last 4-5 years since I should have put out videos once a week at least. वो नहीं हो रहा है. So I was like, मैं अभी अगर once a day video डालूंगा तो मेरे को आदत लग जाएगा. Anyway, my aim is to put out 300 videos this calendar year. So जब time मिल रहा है, I'm just putting it out there, right? So, and I work from home, so I get time. But today I was working till quite late. So काम खत्म होने के बाद I put it out. So thank you, folks. This was Paul Ke Bol. Thank you so much. I'll hope to do more live streams. Let me know what time is good for all this, and we'll do it. So thank you. What? Bhaiya, can you explain why we don't have billion-dollar media companies? I don't know, man. We'll talk about this later. But thank you so much, folks. This was Paul Kibol. Take care. Good night.